Welcome back to The Business Sense, the online show where we take complex things about business and we make them simple so that you can see what you're looking at and you understand what you need to do next. Perhaps you're a startup, perhaps you've been in it for a while, but you need to take the next step. This is the show where we talk tactics and tools. We share some business insights and inspirational stories that help you become successful in your business. Chatting business mastery today, we have a guest speaking about the number one skill in business and life, sales. With me in studio is Master Sales and Leadership Expert. He's a coach, a teacher, and a trainer. He's the founder of the Sales Coach and Uncovering Greatness. And today we're chatting about the number one skills in life, and that's the skill of sales. Barry Mitchell. Welcome, Barry.
Hey, Robin. Great to be with you, bud.
Thank you. So tell me, skill sales. What's so important about sales?
In my mind, the number one skill in the world, and Robert Kiyosaki backs this up, is that if you can't sell, you can't earn. So pretty simply, sales equals income. I think a lot of people get this mistaken. When they think sales, they think sales rep, and that's a profession in sales. But our ability to communicate to other people to get what we want really allows us to earn and create the life that we want to live. And a lot of people just right now can't sell to themselves, let alone sell to other people. So sales equals income. Income equals life. If you don't earn, you don't live. So it stands to reason that sales is a life skill.
Wow, straight out the blocks, you put that gem right up there, the number one skill, and then you said to sell to yourself.
Yeah.
So the first sell is to yourself.
Yeah, so the first and most important sale is to yourself. I'll give you an example. I was at an event last night where we were presenting some business opportunities, and a number of people that I spoke to afterwards were selling themselves in a reason why it wasn't going to work based on what they know, not what they don't know. And the reality is when you want opportunities, when you want to create a different life, often you've got to sell yourself through what you think you know into what you don't know to experience what you can create. And my mentor, a guy called Blair Singer, who I know you've met Blair. Blair's worked with Robert Kiyosaki. Blair says this. He says, you have a little voice, and it's selling to your little voice. Does your little voice sell you on a reason why you can or a reason why you can't? And whatever it sells you on is where you are. You're neither right or wrong. It's just going to create the result. So sales, first of all, starts with can you sell to yourself? And how do you sell to yourself to create the results that you want to create?
It's neither right nor wrong, but it is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Why is this important to you, to Barry?
Well, critically, a little bit of my background, I had an absolute fear of public speaking 8 to 9 years ago. My biggest fear was standing in front of people. Through the corporate environment that I worked in and through some of the businesses that I ran, I had to at times speak. But when I say a fear, for 2 nights before I had to speak, I was an absolute nervous wreck. I didn't sleep. I used to stand in front of the podium and shake. And I started doing some work with Blair and realized that the key thing that held me back was my little voice. And my little voice comes from the way I've been conditioned. And that came from my past. Now, essentially, it's not important to understand your past because that doesn't really make a difference. It's the future that counts. But I just traced it back to grade 3 and grade 4 when, in my perception, everything that I did in class didn't work. I was never right. I was always wrong. And the other kids laughed at me and the teacher I was always in trouble. And I sold myself on a reason then why I just don't speak in public. And that's carried me for 25 years. And when I started working with Blair, he put me in front of a whole lot of people, and I shifted through that little voice. And in the last 8.5 years, it's what I've done. I absolutely love teaching and training people and watching them move. So I've been in sales 25 years as in a sales rep, and to be able to help people sell to themselves and then to be able to sell to other people to create a different life is really what drives me.
That's powerful. So listening to this show is people that are trying to do that, create a new life, a different life for themselves. Yeah. They're most likely a startup, they're most likely already in business, and they need to do the next step. And what I'm hearing you say is that this work of becoming aware and being and accepting of who I used to be and changing the way I think about myself is possibly the first work to going to the next level in the space of sales. And that I heard you say is not about sales rep, it's about earning money, the ability to get income.
100%. So when we say sales equals income, in terms of a business, income is obviously money. But what would it be in terms of a relationship? You and your wife, what's the income that you get? For a woman, it's love. For a man, it's respect. So when we're expending whatever we're getting, what are we getting in return? In a business partnership, some of the viewers are going to go into partnership with a partner to set up something in the future. What's the key income that we want to get out of that? It's trust. So can you sell on that in order to create a return? And whatever you're expending, whatever you're selling, you need to get something in return. And if you're not getting that in return, then you're not selling properly. So it's creating that shift in everything we do in life as a sale. You want to get fit, you get up in the morning to go running and you're feeling tired, that's a sale. You're either going to sell yourself on why you're going to keep your lazy butt in bed, or you're going to get out and go and do some exercise. And your little voice your little voice is going to tell you that the income that you're going to get out of running is going to be way better than staying in bed, but it's way more comfortable to stay in bed right now, so you've got to make a sale. So whatever the income is, wherever you at in whatever area of your life. And obviously when you take it back to business, it's about money. It's about, can we get out, can we sell, can we communicate, can we connect with other people in order to be able to create some income from what we give.
So I came into our conversation, Barry, thinking product and service. And now what I'm hearing you say is that actually there's other stuff that's just as important for me, the business owner, the business leader, the entrepreneur, that if I don't get my head around this other stuff, it doesn't matter how good my product or my service is, I'm not going to unlock that success in that aspect until I unlock it here.
Yeah, you put that across exceptionally well in terms of, I think a lot of people focus a lot on skill. So I noticed when you opened up this session, it was around skill. Skill's powerful, but the most powerful thing we have is between this year and this year. And how many people are very well educated, have huge skills, but have never achieved the results that they desire in life, predominantly because of the way they think. Yet how many people are not that well educated, don't have the huge skills, but have achieved some incredible things in life because of the way they think. So when you put them together, skills plus personal development and the ability to sell to yourself to create a bigger and bigger mind, then you start creating something totally different. I'll give you an example. I have had the opportunity in my life to spend a little bit of time with Robert Kiyosaki. And I was in Phoenix a number of years ago in his boardroom with him. And I asked, we were chatting, and one of the things, I said to him, Robert, what's one of the most important things about creating success? He said, Barry, there's probably no difference between your education and my education. In fact, you might be more educated than me. I said, don't bet on it, but... And the one thing that he said to me was, the difference between you and me is the size of my mind. I can just sell to myself on much bigger things than you can sell to yourself on. So the more you invest in you and invest in changing your mind, the more you unlock the ability to play a much bigger game and to create something much bigger. So whether you're a startup business or whether you're running a multinational 6 billion, 10 billion rand business, it ultimately comes down to this, because if you want to grow and move to another level, you need to start selling yourself. I mean, we talked about partners. How many business owners today will not have a partner because they've been burnt by a partner, or they've heard that you don't have a partner, so they get stuck in doing it all by themselves, and they'll never grow. And that's a mindset. So can they sell to themselves why they need to find the right partner? Because when you bring on a partner, you have a risk, and it's going to happen. But how many partnerships are great in business? So it goes back to that first sale of, what do I need to do to create the result, and how do I sell to myself to be able to move through that? And that unlocks it, and then that unlocks your ability to then get out and go and do the physical selling. To be able to sell door to door and knock on doors comes from here. I know people that can speak exceptionally well. I've taught them all the scripts in the world, but they cannot get out of their office, get off their chair, walk down the stairs, walk next door and knock on a door. And that comes to mindset. So that'll unlock it.
We're talking with Barry Mitchell, we're talking about the number one skill in business and in life, and that's, how big is your game? We're talking sales. We're talking with Barry Mitchell, the number one skill in business and in life, the skill of sales. We were talking a moment ago, and I heard you say, "How big is your game?" That's what I felt. That actually, it's what happens between these two ears. How important is this for people in business today?
I think it's critical because most of us are limiting ourselves. So we have that saying. You've been in one of our rooms that goes, how big is your game? It's as big as you want to play, but it's as big as your mind will allow you to play. How big is it? It's great. It's huge. It's massive. But the reality is, when we start saying that, what's our little voice saying? I've just spent a little bit of time in Zim, and the little voice there is telling them they can't play a big game because there's no money, the economy's tight, all that sort of stuff. And one of the teams that I've been coaching, when I started the first session with them, I asked them what's holding them back, and they told me, the economy, there's no money and everything. And I said, okay, cool. At the end of the day, I did a sales exercise with them, and in 12 minutes, they sold $21,000 over the phone between 14 of them. They'll close about $6,000. But, $6,000 in 12 minutes, how many businesses wouldn't want six? When I asked them at the end of the thing, what's holding you back? They didn't say economy or money, they said us. And exactly that, how big is your game? Their game is limited by what they can see and what they can feel and what they want to go after. Subsequently, in the last 3 weeks, they're playing a much bigger game because they've shifted this. So, a lot of us have huge dreams and aspirations, but we don't do enough work on our mind to allow us to play a big enough game. And it's a journey. And I think, being on this program with you, I think, and talking to you before, you were telling me, this has been a 2-year journey. Most people would have quit because they want it now. You've been prepared to stick in the game and play a bigger game continually and get through all the objections that you have in your mind in order to be able to get to this place where you're playing a much bigger game, and it'll continue to grow, but no one says it's going to be easy. The bigger the game you want, the harder it's going to be, the bigger your mind you have to play, and you've got to confront those type of things. So continual growth in playing that game.
We're chatting the number one skill in life and in business, and that is the skill of sales with Barry Mitchell. I'm just a regular guy. I hated sales. You said something earlier about being able to speak well, which I think I can do, but it took a long time for me to take my speaking business to the next level because I didn't know how to sell. What's the first 3 things a regular guy can start looking at if they realize, I need to take this to the next level? Sales is not something that I've given the attention that it needs.
Okay, cool. So we've obviously talked a lot around selling to yourself. So the first step is being prepared to sell yourself on a reason why you're going to do what you need to do. And that's what's the reason that you need to do things. That's the why I'm going to create it. But the key part is take action. We have a saying that goes, sales is an action sport. Sales is not made by sitting in the office, by sitting in your plush office, by sitting in your chair. And the tendency today with a lot of people, especially startup and small businesses, is they want to use social media way too much. And am I a proponent of social media? 100%. But for most small businesses, if they went out and actually knocked on 50 doors in the next week and got 10 new customers, they'd revolutionize their business. So the first step is what do you want to do? Where are your customers that you can get them, and are you prepared to go knock on a door and introduce yourself and find out essentially whether they have a problem that you can solve? So that's the first step. The second step is learn how to sell. So sales is a learned skill. It's not something we're born with. I've always heard this, you have to be born in sales. Some people are gifted to speak, but doesn't necessarily mean that they're great at sales. Give you an example. One of my great mates that I grew up with, probably one of the best salespeople I've ever had the opportunity of working alongside. When he spoke, he stuttered, and that never held him back because he had an unrelenting ability to go and connect with people. He had a huge work ethic, and he just got out and made it happen. He didn't let the reason why most people would not go and sell be the reason why he didn't sell. He went and sold. Why? Because he wanted to earn some money. So that was his option. So first step, take some action. Second step, start learning how to sell. So there's huge opportunities to learn how to sell, to learn how to do anything in the world today. But first step is, what is sales? Get out, find some customers, go and approach, connect with them, present, learn how to present, quick pitch, how to get in their world, most importantly, how to handle some objections, and then how to close. Once you get through that simple process, then get out and sell. But the key part is take action. Just go knock on some doors, introduce yourself to some people, find out about them. Right? And I think that is probably, if I teach anything, it's all about them, it's not about you. So the third key point is stop telling and start teaching and asking questions. Learn how to ask questions. Go out, find about other people, build relationships, understand how you can help them. If you understand how you can help them, you'll find a problem and your solution can fit the problem. You'll make a sale.
Oh, thanks, Barry. You're generous with those ideas. Those are real gems. We're on the Business Sense, the online show where we take complex things about business and we make them simple so that you can take the next step. What one thing or tactical tool will you use today? As Barry Mitchell shared with us, take action as you take the next step towards your business success. Join us again on the next episode when we talk business mastery with professional speaker and author as we look at consumer engagement and 50 ways to innovate. I am Robin Pullen and this is The Business Sense.